Asobi.tech.
Hello, my name is Jupiter Hadley, and today I'd like to talk to you about Asobi.tech, the company, their game MaoMao Castle, and their business ideas for it. Next. Asobi.tech consists of two brothers, Viet, who does the graphics, Quang, who does the code, and for today, me, Jupiter. In 2007, Quang founded Asobi.tech as a spare time project. He recruited the pixel art talents of his brother Viet to help in game creation. Asobi.tech is a merging of Eastern and Western gaming philosophies. Much like the brothers themselves, who are from Vietnam and came over as refugees to the UK, giving them an Eastern-Western upbringing. Quang and Viet took the time to relearn their craft by making mini-games and taking part in various game jams. After winning a few and getting encouraging feedback, they decided to work on releasing a full commercial game. In September of 2015, building upon a previous Ludum Dare entry, they started working on Dr. Harrison the Blood Crystals. Work was going well and steady on Dr. Harrison, when in July, the brothers decided to take part in the Castle Game Jam 2016, where they created MaoMao Castle. Against roughly 300 other developers in 70-ish games, they managed to win Best Graphics, Best Music, and Best Overall Game. With its popularity, they decided to bring the game to market. To the start, they tried creating both games at the same time, but quickly realized this was going to be impossible with the limited amount of spare time they each had. So Dr. Harrison got put on hold. MaoMao Castle is a game about a flying cat dragon on a fantastical journey on their way home to their castle. You can control MaoMao by either dragging your finger or mouse around to move, and tap to make MaoMao perform an invincible speed dash. MaoMao's journey is broken up into various waves of different obstacles that are handcrafted to showcase various mechanics. The first 4 waves teaches the player everything they need to know to play the rest of the game, element by element, as overloading the player with too many instructions too fast just doesn't work. Wave 1 has the player collecting rainbows. Rainbows will give you the maximum amount of points, and collecting enough of them will give you additional lives so that you can continue onwards in the game. Wave 2 is Cut the Grass. This teaches players that MaoMao can easily go through smaller objects and even gain points with it, without being harmed. Notice how the top of the screen moves down, subliminally suggesting that the player should move down towards the bottom of the screen so that they actually do end up cutting the grass. Wave 3 is Avoid the Trees. This teaches players that larger objects will harm MaoMao. Each time MaoMao hits a tree, it loses one of his 9 lives, and also a segment of its body pops off. If you watch closely, MaoMao actually gets smaller, making it easier to avoid objects. Wave 4 teaches you how to do the invincible speed dash. Walls of objects come towards the player with no way to escape or go around it, forcing them to speed dash through it. Each time they perform a speed dash, there's a cooldown period where the player is quite vulnerable, waiting for their invincibility and their dash to recharge. This is so that the player doesn't spam this invincibility through the game, just kind of dashing through everything. Earlier levels were redesigned so that the player would have to perform at least 1 speed dash before starting the rest of the game, so that they were more familiar with that idea. With that knowledge under their belts, players can dash headlong into the rest of the game. The first day of Castle Game Jam was spent making sure the game feel of flying MaoMao around was pleasurable. The snaking of the body is reminiscent of the old-school demo scene effects. There's joy to be had, smashing through objects, collecting rainbows, doing barrel rolls, and my favorite, grabbing the giant rainbow Jupiter star and becoming a giant MaoMao smashing through everything on the screen. Various effects were added to make the game feel more juicy and polished. Chromatic screen shake, easing effects, and having everything breathe in a figure of 8. There are plans to add boss encounters into the game, where you have to free other types of cat dragons from cages, and bonus stages to gain even more of a high score. Viet has gone for the 16-bit aesthetic reminiscent of the old Sega Superscalar games, Outrun, Afterburner, and of course Space Harrier. Other influences are the old demo scene, Studio Ghibli, The Never-Ending Story. The game's appeal is further increased by the internet's obsession with cute cats, rainbows, and dragons. Currently, funding is the two brothers working day jobs to pay for their day-to-day lives and game development. The game will be free, with in-app purchases, reward ads, and interstitial ads. Since it's a free game, it'll have 0 barrier to entry to maximize the user base. Asobi.tech understands the importance of building a strong community around the game, as community builds awareness of your game, company, and brand. As a part of this, MaoMao Castle has now been showcased at 35 different events in 15 months, with this being number 36. The game has also been entered into several competitions and opportunities, like the one here at GamesForum. For example, it was a finalist at PG Connect London's Very Big Indie Fitch in 2017. Showcasing games on mobile devices can make it difficult to attract attention at large events, so MaoMao Castle was modified to work with the Leap Motion hand tracker and displayed on an enormous projector screen. This makes the game a huge spectacle, attracting curiosity at events. The high score chasing nature of the game is perfect for holding competitions, where a high score can net you a baby MaoMao plushie. These are all the previous winners. The in-app purchases consist of many other cat dragon skins. These can be collected by freeing them in boss encounters, allowing the player to use the new MaoMao skin for a single time, or purchasing them to add them to a player's roster to be used permanently. Players can buy lucky cat avatars in gold, silver, and bronze at incremental prices. These will be displayed on global online leaderboards, showing the world how much the players supported the game. There will also be custom high score lists you can build by exchanging friend codes, increasing competition between players. Eventually, Asobi.tech is aiming to fund themselves full-time with games and quit their day jobs, i.e. living the indie developer dream. Thank you. I've been Jupiter Hadley. This was Asobi.tech, their game MaoMao Castle, and their business ideas for it.
Asobi.tech